So you've got health, you've got the economy, you've got social justice and poverty issues, you've got climate, you've got environment, you've got education. It's all connected. And the issue is that most people don't connect the dots, number one, and most people don't realize that we're in this situation because of money in the food system that's driving our policies.
Right. You were mentioning how there's some press hits that you do. I won't mention who, but that would say you can't talk about certain things because of a sponsor that's funding the program.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So you can't talk negative about one brand or one product or because of that. Yeah.
That's right. I was told, well, you can't cover this subject because we get our funding from this sponsor. I can tell you a story from the past because the show's not on the air anymore. Sure. It was the Martha Stewart show. And I was on the show, and we were working with a producer, and we were talking about getting healthy and working out and detoxing, and Martha had her trainer there. And the producer says, well, we're going to have to do a bit as part of the segment on dairy and how dairy is such a great sports recovery drink.
No way.
Yes. And so I was like, I'm just sorry to tell you, but there's all this evidence that that's not true. So I downloaded all the scientific papers documenting the science behind the fact that dairy isn't a sports drink. And he's like, I know, but we kind of have to because this spot is sponsored by the Dairy Council.
Oh my gosh.
And then if you're ever on television, you know that the experts don't get notes. They don't get cue cards. They don't get teleprompters. They have to know their stuff. Well, this woman, who was the trainer, had all these cue cards that was being held up about dairy with all the bullet points of why dairy is such a great food and sports drink. It's insidious. So we think we're getting news. We're thinking getting authentic
from
information.
experts too. From
experts,
doctors or specialists or experts, and we are influenced by these experts.
Huge. I mean, the evidence is so clear that the industry is heavily funding science, and they're funding corrupt science. So if you look at the data, for example, artificial sweeteners, 99% of the studies done by the food industry show that they are safe. 99% of the studies on artificial sweeteners done by independent scientists find that they're not safe. If your industry funds a study, they're 8 to 50 times more likely to find a positive benefit for their product.
Right, of course.
Right? Whereas you look at, and then you look at the American Heart Association, the American Diabetic Association, the American Nutrition Dietetic Association. These are all funded by the food industry. I mean, if you look, it's Coca-Cola, it's Pepsi, it's Cargill. It's frightening to see how much money is. You have Trix cereal for kids as a heart-healthy cereal. Cocoa Puffs, Lucky Charms. I mean, Trix has 7 teaspoons of sugar, red dye, blue dye, yellow dye, you dye.
Yeah, right.
Like it's all in there, and it's a heart-healthy food. Why? Because they get $300,000 for every time they put that check on a box.
No way.
Yes, way.